You are listening to the Get Global Network podcast of Whole Mind, Body, and Soul, hosted by Lawrence-Coutee. You can hear Whole Mind, Body, and Soul Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Pacific Time on Yessurr-FM, one of the original member stations of the Get Global Network.
Love, peace, and light. You're now tuned into the most inspirational and informative show on a Thursday night, where elevation through education is truly the goal. You now got it locked into Whole Mind, Body, and Soul. I am your host, Lawrence-Coutee. I am Ra Ra. I hope everybody's having a high vibrational week so far as we get ready to cruise into the weekend. Man, today I am back on the air. I'm pumped up. I'm excited to have a special guest, returning guest. This is Gerbrina-coutee, personal life coach. She's going to be with us today as we get ready to expound on love, relationships, and the sacred science of sexuality. Gerbrina, how you doing, Queen?
I'm doing wonderful tonight. Thank you so much for asking me. Thank you for having me back again. I'm excited about tonight.
As always. Well, you know, the first show was amazing, hot. I got a lot of good reviews on the show. A lot of people were listening in and had questions and stuff, and we're going to continue to build with it because you're going to be joining us. You know, you're going to be a continuing guest on the show, right?
Yes, every first Thursday.
Every first Thursday. So all the listening audience, you can all look forward to having her with us every Thursday on Whole Mind, Body, and Soul. So tonight we're just going to jump right into it. Gerbrina, last time we was on air, I don't know if we got off into the movement of what you got going on Eat, Pray, Tantra. Could you kind of tell us about that movement and a little bit about it and the work that you're doing in it?
Yes, thank you. So Eat, Pray, Tantra is my movement, and, you know, the reason why I created the movement is because I think that the way that we think of Tantra in the West is very one-dimensional, and I wanted to shed light on the fact that Tantra was everything that life is, and I often use the analogy of, if you think about Jesus, if you think about his entire life and everything that he went through, and I do feel like there's some pieces that were missing, but, you know, coming back to his God self or coming back to his whole self and mastering the life is what Tantra is. And all those sexual pleasure and interaction and orgasmic energy, all those things are very powerful. And, you know, we'd be remiss if we leave that out of the Tantra piece. However, Tantra is all-inclusive. So in my movement, I apply Tantric theory to every aspect of our lives. And so I'm showing people how to apply the theory to live a harmonious life, to live an empowered life in the same aspect or the same way that we make love in Tantra and we use the orgasmic power to bring power to our lives, right, so that we are in position to create our lives. I show people how to apply that to parenting, how to apply that to spiritual concepts, how to apply that to confidence, coming back to themselves, empower themselves as a human being or a spirit being inside of the human being body. I show them how to use every aspect of life and how it is all Tantra. Tantra is not something that we practice. Tantra is something that we are. We live it day by day. And so the Eat, Pray, Tantra movement is just about making it a whole full 360-degree circle of what it means when people practice or live in Tantra.
So when you look at your movement, and this is something that you saw a need to do, so to say that you saw how you can incorporate the philosophy of Tantra in everyday living. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
with that being said, can you kind of expound on some of it and how, we think about Tantra and this energy and this sexual energy and this, but how can you incorporate it outside of that? Like you mentioned the children while ago in the family circle. Is that energy? Is that consciousness? What is that when you're
all of
incorporating
it?
Okay.
All of it. So I'll give you an example. Tantra, a piece of Tantra, because there's many different schools of thought of Tantra. You have sex or individuals who are groups who practice Tantra in the East. And so before you ever make love, you have to be initiated 2 years before you take on a partner. And the reason being, or part of the reason being, is that there is a mental piece. There is a conscious piece. There is a consciousness of knowing that you are a part of the cosmos, of knowing your purpose of being here on the planet. You have to understand that and that's the whole premise of the Kundalini. It's raising up through each chakra of the body to the crown and connecting them all, right? So that you are whole. You've completed the whole circuit of the tree of life. And the tree of life is not just sex and orgasmic energy. But then I can't just say it's not just that, because orgasmic energy is everything. Like everything on the planet is being birthed and coming through orgasmic energy. Now, an example of how I show people how to use it in their own lives, for instance, if someone comes to me for an energetic projection, and at the end of the day, in a nutshell, that's someone who comes to me to have their Kundalini risen so that they can become whole, they can heal and complete certain compartments of their life. And what I mean by complete, a man might come to me who has issues with his mother, right? And so he's having disconnects with his lover or his wife. He's feeling unaccomplished. He's feeling unsuccessful. He has blocks. And so he's not the successful man that he thinks he should be, right? He's hurting women. And so that man will come to me so that he can get recalibrated, so that we can raise his Kundalini, and so I can intuitively feel where he has these blocks at. A couple months ago, I had a session with a man who was sitting on my table, and as I was pulling the energy, his energy by his auric field. We all have an energy or auric field around us. So I'm pulling and combing through his energy and attempting to pull his Kundalini up for healing, right, to connect his penis to his heart, because many men are living very disconnected from love. They have sex, but they're not in love with their partners. And in our culture, we promote that, but that is very unnatural. God is love. Everything on the planet that comes from God is love. And so we have men out here who desperately want to love, who are feeling empty, but instead they do things on autopilot to harm women. And this man knew that he was harming women, right? And he was very upset at himself. He was in a lot of pain. And so once I went over his auric fields and I was moving my hands over his heart, I felt a sharp pain in my own heart. Now, he couldn't articulate what his problem was, but because I'm intuitive to the energy, I understood he had blocks in his heart chakra, right? And so I knew that he had been sad and that he had been held back because he had a broken heart, right? So a man that is walking around with a broken heart is going to have problems in his life, problems in his pocket, problems on his job, problems bringing money in, right? Just problems in confidence, period. And so as we began to talk, I realized that he had issues with his mother, right? So unresolved issues with his mother, but his mother is dead. So Tantra, using it outside of just making love, you use that same energy, the same orgasmic, same beautiful energy of pure, unconditional love, and you teach men how to clear out the blocks from their chakra. Because if a man's chakra is blocked and he lays down to make love to me, we're not in pure connection. We're not in pure love. So how is it that he's going to want from me, right, and hold space for me and want to create with me, right, when he's hating women. So we would talk about ways of how to internalize what has happened to him, right? I give him new ways of how to forgive and have compassion about whom he has been in the past since he was hurt by his mother when he was smaller, right? So we go in there and we reorganize, right? The way his life was when everything started. It usually starts when they're young, right? And the reason why Tantra and its principles are so important is because when we're young, right, a lot of us learn some of the behaviors. We learn that it's okay to abuse women or to not love women, or it's okay for men to have a lot of partners and just, sex women without caring. Because in our culture, we watch stuff like porn, and, our parents don't really put a lot of restrictions on the boys, but they put them on the girls. So our boys are getting raised by pornos and culture and all those type things. And so the way that I apply Tantra is just subconsciously going back in there and showing him ways to make himself whole. So when he comes to my bed or her bed, he's a whole man. Right? And so his kundalini won't get blocked as it's coming up the channels so it can reach his crown so he can be God again.
Deep. I love it. So would you say, we always talk, you see a lot of work when you're dealing with the goddess energy, but men need this healing, men need this education as well. And like you said, maybe even more so, because, that energy is being spread around, and a man who doesn't even know how to love, you know what I'm saying, a woman, he's just spreading that energy around. So I don't think that a lot of us understand that the male has a lot of education to go through and a lot of understanding and peeling back these layers of why. We live in society with so many men who put their hands, physical violence on women. And it's like, where did you learn that? And most of that behavior is learned in the household.
Right.
We come from a household of dysfunction, and I saw my dad come home and he used to, hit on my mother, and I realized later on that I started to do it. And you don't even realize that it's being embedded or you're being programmed to do so. But I guess I say it's so much healing that can take place in these sessions, in these Tantra sessions, and just a lot of education. We have to do a lot of re-educating ourselves. Would you agree?
Absolutely. That's exactly the mission of Eat Pray Tantra. We have to reprogram and re-educate ourselves on what does it mean, and how can we apply consciousness? How can we apply Tantric theory so that we are healed and we're not repeating the same crazy behaviors that we've seen in the past? And so while Tantra is great for making love, right, if we don't reorganize and reassess some of the things that we do in word and communication, right, and learning how to see things differently, if we don't do that communication first, we're just two people making love.
Right. And I don't think that people know the depths of it. You can have all the fly positions down, but we're talking about a connection. We're talking about energy. We're talking about setting the mood. We're talking about being a union. And I don't think that people, and I want you to kind of explain this, the union that when a man and a woman engage and to have sex, how powerful that is, and you're bringing birth to something. I think that we lay down and we get pleasure out of it, but we really don't understand how powerful the act itself is. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. At the height of what I know, and what I mean by what I know is that I want to stay open to the fact that I don't know it all about Tantra. I probably don't know half of what there is to know about Tantra. But from where I am and what I do know, the height of what I do know is that when we make love together, and we open up that orgasmic energy in the gateway to heaven, we are creating new reality. And I don't know if that sounds deep or that sounds major. That is a major undertaking. You are literally changing the ocean everywhere. You know what I mean? You're literally changing the entire cosmos, not even just the earth. And that's the power of orgasmic energy. That's the power of laying down with somebody who understands, who is clear, right, and in pure love and understands the power of consciousness, right? Because we're opening up heaven. Like, that's where people all pray. We pray to heaven so that we can have miracles happen. And so when you're making love, you're opening up the storehouse. And so whatever you're thinking, whatever you desire, whatever you want, whatever you and him, you know, whatever your problems are, you're giving birth to all of it. And that's the height of what I know. And so that's powerful. Right. And so we're walking around here in the sense of dead, of not understanding what we're doing when we're doing it. Then we are like on autopilot. We're really zombies. We're really, you know, contributing to more of what we don't want on the world every time we lay down with somebody who doesn't understand the possibilities of what happens when we make love.
Right. And I wanted to ask you, how important is for a man to create that environment of a woman to be totally relaxed? Because you just hit on it when you said you're about to engage in a transfer of energy that could actually open up portals. And we get into sex magic and saying that that's, you know, at the height of orgasm. If I'm holding this thing, I want money or I want this promotion, and a woman is open to that she can actually, you know, give birth to that in the ethers. And like I said, we're talking so deep right now, and I think our listening audience is like, you guys, a lot of stuff that we're saying, I just got to say this, look it up. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about Tantra. Go look it up. You know, I don't want to be so out there ahead of y'all, but at the same time, we don't really have time to kind of babysit you and, you know, and break it all the way down. And what is Tantra? What is, you know, look, you know, take the initiative to look some of this up. But I wanted to say, how important is it for that man to create that environment and put her at a relaxed state?
Yes. You know, it's so funny that you asked this question, because this entire week has had a theme of what it means to hold divine masculine. And what I mean by divine masculine is just a man who knows how to be a man for a woman. And I'm not talking about money. It has nothing to do with money. It has everything to do with what he's here for and his purpose and his position as it relates to a woman. Right? And so one of my mentors said one time, a man is not a man until he has healed a woman. Period. So if she hasn't, I'm sorry. A man is not a man until he has healed a woman. So we're walking around here thinking we're doing each other favors behind making love and having sex for these booty calls, and, you know, I don't have to give it to you, and I'm going to hold out for you. And that is like kid stuff. Well, you know, I mean, that's kindergarten stuff. You know, because at the height of it, when you have a man who understands what it means to heal a woman, when she's in your space, she has nothing to worry about. She's not worried about how big her stomach is. She's not worried about her scars. She's not worried about how her hair looks, because he doesn't care. It's beyond vanity. His goal in that moment, in the planet, when he has a goddess in his presence, is to make her feel comfortable, to make her feel secure, to make her feel protected, to sit her down in her feminine. Because a lot of women are walking around here in their masculine. You know what I mean? We're trying to be CEOs. We're trying to make, you know, as much money as Donald Trump. You know what I mean? We're trying to be mothers. You know what I mean? In building business and empires, this stuff is external stuff. It's energy given out. You know what I mean? While you have your kids here. And so we need to have men on the planet to know when she's overdone. She's done. Sit down and let me protect you. You be feminine. Don't worry about anything. I will nurture you. I'll take care of you. I'll bathe you. I'll burn the candles. I'll cook for you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And when a man can do that just one time, let her have one of them in her life once a month. Right. And you're going to have, the whole planet is going to shift. You're going to have women that are creating the world that you really want to see. You're going to have women, anytime she gets around a man, he got money in his pocket. He's building a business that he's been dreaming about. When the feminine is balanced, when she's harmonious. And so if a man doesn't know how to do that, you got women around here on empty. Worried about how she looks. She can't come because she's, not confident. She's uncomfortable. She can't talk to him about, how his positions don't work. You know what I'm saying? She's over, she's cooking every night. She's just run down. And there's really some men around here that are either competing against women or just blind. They just don't know. Wow. And so you got an empty man and an empty woman. When they don't know how to hold the masculine and feminine. Yes.
And again, here we go. It's so much education. It's like you'll get into the Kemetic science and you'll get into the African pantheons and you'll do all of that. But if you do not understand the science and the spirituality of sex and making love and being intimate and being one, then you're missing out. You can't be so over here with all of this knowledge and philosophy and you're missing this, because this part of it is the most powerful. It all works together, but if you understand this,
But can I speak to that? Let me speak to that. And I agree with you 1,000%. We are so in the Hotep, into the Kemetic science, the African science, the Black Power, and, whatever else. People who aren't into the Black Power movement, they're still into business and into, namaste and yoga and all these things, right? And we block out that which is so natural. We block out sex like it's a plague. So I agree with you. I noticed that we're so far to the left. So even with all that knowledge, you're imbalanced still. Because if you're not functioning and giving life to that which gives life, which is orgasmic energy, you still are half.
Right. You knowledge yourself, with everything you get understanding of. Man, know thyself, and I don't think that we can understand who we are as a being, as a spiritual being. Spiritual being having a human experience if we do not understand how we were created. How did you get here? And what is the mindset of that woman when she gave birth, when she conceived?
Yeah.
Was it under duress? I conceived in the back of a car. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, it was good. Right. Don't get me wrong. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But again, going back to what I was talking about, the environment, placing the pillows. We talked about this in the intro show, the candles, the ambiance. You are actually creating a mood. You're creating vibration. You're creating a ritual. You're doing a ritual. And just how important that woman needs to be at ease. She needs to let go. She's tensed up. If you want to start with a massage, that's cool. But you're trying to open her up. You're trying to relax her. And then we'll get into the techniques later, but understanding the mind connection, so to speak.
That
was a question I want to ask you. How connected should a person be mentally and communicating? That's the question. Is it important to communicate with your partner?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. See, because a person who feels unheard is going to shut down. And if you shut down outside the bedroom, eventually you're going to be shut down in the bedroom, right? And so a woman has to feel like, and men has to feel like they are heard. Part of having a great love life is being able to communicate about what is needed. And so we have to lay down the offensiveness. And I know that it takes work. You can't just tell a person to do something. But you have to lay down the offensiveness so that we can communicate about what it is that we need. right? We can communicate about what it means to set the ambiance, because maybe, you know, you like rose petals in the bathtub, right? And your partner is like, what's the big deal? I bought you roses and put them on the table. You know, and it's not that you can't have a good love life, a good ambiance or energy and connection if roses are on the table, opposed to you putting roses in the bathtub. But sometimes people need to know that you care about what they want. I mean, it just makes a woman more open. A woman wants to be heard. She's so internal, right? And so when you have a partner that is, I love my partners that are just willing to communicate and talk and allow me to be me, right? Those are the ones I have the deepest connection with, because in the bedroom I can let completely go. And, I mean, don't underestimate something so simple as, you know, putting rose petals across the floor and buying some dollar store candles, you know, and setting those up before she comes home. I mean, you're going to have a woman doing things for you that you didn't even have to ask. And then when the communication is open, you guys are thinking for each other. Like, she literally can hear your thoughts, and you don't have to say a word. You know, and so people who are in disconnect don't have that type of, they're not privy to that type of intuitive connection. And so we're just talking about people who are ready to go deep tonight, who want relationships that the common people don't even know exist. And so communication is key, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think that we don't communicate enough. I like this, I don't like that, and I think that most of the time we've seen in the past, and you know, the so-called Dr. Rules, you know, back in the day, you know, these are the people, you know, that was teaching sex education, but you know, even she would say, you know, communicate with your lover. You know what I'm saying? I like this, I don't like that. I don't like you pulling my hair. Oh, I love it when you pull my hair. Tell me. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And I think men don't have to take that as not offensive, but I think men have a bravado and they don't know nothing, but they think that once they get in the bedroom, because I'm a man, I know how to please a woman. And you ain't doing nothing, homie. You know what I'm saying? You ain't doing that. And then the poor woman, she's reluctant to tell him, you know, I'm not feeling that. Or that's turning me off. You had me going, but you switched your position, you did this. It's like you got to be able to, brothers, you've got to be able to listen to her, not only verbally, but listening to her body, hearing her breath get shallow, understand, you know what I'm saying, how she's moving and sync. You understand what I'm saying? Listen to her. She's showing you. Not only she's telling you, if she's not telling you, but at least be in tune with her body. You understand what I'm saying? Why is she tensing up right now? So, again, now, go ahead.
Well, just to add to that, I just feel like people really don't know that 70% of women in the culture have never had a vaginal orgasm. Like, literally.
That's deep. That's deep. And I want to say this. I don't want to cut you because I want to hold that, because I want to break. But I would love to come back on that, and I want you to answer that question and say it again, and then I really want to pick back up on that. 70% of women have never had a vaginal orgasm. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Why? I'm not going to tell me why before I go to break. Why is that?
Well, for one thing, the communication is poor. Women have been taught that sex is for men, number one. And number two, the culture stereotype and understanding is that men, and they are mostly, very sensitive about hearing about them not being pleasing in the bedroom. And I get it. Men do want to be pleasing in the bedroom. But in order to be pleasing in the bedroom, she got to be able to tell you, I didn't get pleased this time. So number one is communication, and number two is that the women don't even know themselves that they can have a vaginal orgasm, meaning they can have an orgasm where nobody ever touched their clitoris. Yeah. My teachers say that a clitoris orgasm is for a 5-year-old little girl. That's what little girls have. When you become a tantric woman and your vagina becomes online, you can have vaginal orgasms in several ways.
Okay, and I like that, and I'm glad you answered that, because we're going to get into your teachers. We're going to come back in, and I want to talk about that work that you did with Master Yao. We didn't get into it. I think I might have pitched it, but man, we're rolling so hard right now, and the energy is good. The show is good. I want to come back in, and I want to talk about Master Yao when we come back. Okay?
Absolutely.
All right. With that being said, you guys, you're listening to Whole Mind, Body, and Soul. We're getting into the vibration of sound, and we'll be right back.
You are listening to the Get Global Network podcast of Whole Mind, Body, and Soul, hosted by Lawrence-Coutee.
You're back on Whole Mind, Body, and Soul. Special guest, the intuitive life coach, Gerbrina-Coutee. We've been going over energy. We've been going over Tantra. We've been going over how we have to get in touch with each other and be honest and communicate. But before we went to break, I was talking about some of your teachers. And one of them, the great Master Yao. Could you talk about the Grandmaster, you know what I'm saying, and the work that you've done with him?
Yes,
being up under him, being up under him, you know.
Yes. You know, Master Yao is one of the most amazing teachers, one of the most amazing men, one of the most patient teachers I have ever encountered. And yes, I was so very blessed to be able to bring him here for an Eat, Pray, Tantra retreat, I believe about a year ago. And it was beautiful. We had a 3-day retreat, and I mean, he literally morphed our lives in 3 days. And so without a shadow of a doubt, the people that attended that retreat will never, ever, ever, ever be the same again. And yes. And so, you know, Master Yao does so much work. He's one of the teachers, as most Tantra teachers or energy teachers, always bring in the subconscious you, right, dealing with the theory of Tantra, and also bring in the energy, because we're all just energetic beings, and so he's dealing with the energy or orgasmic energy of Tantra in order for us to complete circuits of our life. And what I mean by complete, I mean that, you know, there's several levels in order for us to complete the circuit or complete the tree of life. And so you have to understand how to readjust and realign your thoughts so that you are open to the information, open to consciousness, so that you can utilize these things in your life and become a return to yourself, which is return to your God, because we are the essence of God. And so he combines the two, the energy and the theory. And he literally teaches you how to raise the Kundalini by using the masculine and the feminine. So, you know, he's strong because, you know, there's the law of gender. And so, you know, everything has a masculine and feminine energy. And so the work he does, you'll have your partner, for myself, obviously a male partner. If you're a man, you have a woman partner to complete that circuit, to complete the circuit of energy. And he teaches generally how to move the energy, right, from second chakra, which is your sexual chakra, all the way up to your crown. and he teaches you how to connect those together so that you become whole, right? And when you connect those together, using various points on the body, meridian points on the body, and if you do massage, people know about meridian points. Those are like strong energy centers, like we have on the planet. You have like the San Andreas Faults and other places on the planet. There's strong energy in those places. We also reflect the cosmos and have those on our body. And so he teaches you how to massage those points on the body or touch the points on the body with just your finger and eventually just your energy, right, to bring a person to orgasm. And the reason why you bring them to orgasm is so that they can open up and create their entire life in the way that they see fit. And it probably sounds like a very intricate process, and it is. But Master Yah has been teaching, from what I know, for over 20 years. And he was able to take us day one. People were feeling the orgasmic energy, moving orgasmic energy, feeling other people's orgasmic energy on day one. And by day 3, we were projecting from our breast, projecting energy from our breast, meaning if you just kind of imagine like, you know, a ray of the sun coming out from your breast, and you're able to manipulate another person's body and energy by using your breast, by using your vagina, by using your hands. And so essentially he's teaching you how to make love from 10,000 miles away, how to heal from 10,000 miles away. And so connecting with him was one of the most, you know, profound connections in my life. I mean, Master Yah was bad, as in bad good.
Master Yah is a bad man. When I first saw a video of Master Yah, he had a woman on the table and he was waving his hands and she was having an orgasm. And I didn't understand. I didn't understand then. And I was like, my God, is this possible?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it seems superhuman that there's people out there that has mastered this technique of energy, of manipulating energy. It's the Reiki. It's the energy that's coming out of you and you're projecting it into that person. And the woman is in bliss and she's having orgasm after orgasm. And I'm like, he's just waving his hand.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
just waving his hand.
And I'm like,
exactly.
I would love to go to one of his workshops. And, hey, cuz we're going to have to, hook up your connection and get him to Dallas. I'm putting that out there for everybody in Dallas.
Yes.
Hit my inbox. Gerbrina will fly down here, and we will lay it all out. But if you guys are interested, we can make that happen, and we need to make that happen.
He's open, and
I don't think he's been to Dallas. I would love to be the first person to bring him to Dallas.
That would be excellent. I know he's gone to Houston. I'm not sure if he's been to Dallas, but if he hasn't, that'd be wonderful. He does have online courses as well, but I'm just a touchy-feely person, which is so weird because half the work we're doing is touchless. Right. But I still want to be communing with the people. We're on Earth, so, Earth is all about feeling. That's why we're here, to feel. So I want to be in the house, when we're doing this work. But, again, he does have classes online, which are beautifully laid out for you, and he will coach you, through webinars and video and those type mediums. But, I just wanted to share, the possibility. We talk about how, yes, he does work on women because that's how it works, right? He's the masculine energy. He works on women. But I want to say that men are not left out. Men can also feel this energy work as well. They can also become aroused and, shoot across the room, because they are feeling this energy. And there's so many beautiful things that happen. I'll just tell one story about my retreat. There was a guy that I was working on. And so, it's just so amazing how, it just reminds me of going to church. And you remember feeling the Holy Ghost, or whoever, maybe, felt the Holy Ghost in church. And it was, we was touching on a little bit of something. They own to something. But I mean, when you start really intentionally doing this work, it just reminds you of catching the Holy Ghost. I mean, I literally Lawrence, had a orgasm for at least 10 minutes. And now there's been times where they weren't even working with me on the table, but I was just in the vicinity, like 2 or 3 feet away, and I'm starting to have an orgasm. And then there was one guy, yes, and then I couldn't stop it. Like, you literally could not, I couldn't stop. And then it was a guy I was working on as the energy was building up. See, because the more that you get into it and build up the energy is real. So it's building up and days upon days. And so you're literally electrified, right? And so whatever you touch, this energy is going to come out of you onto whomever you touch. And so I'm building up. And so I literally put one finger on a man that I was working on. And I mean, energy went through my body that we both like jerked. Like, I literally fell over on him, right? And it was such a powerful, like, energy. It's like a shock that comes out the wall. It didn't hurt, but I could feel it leave my body. I mean, and I was crying and we were both laughing, and it was a purge from heaven, literally. Like, we both were purging for at least 5 or 10 minutes. Like, this work is real. I felt like I went to church and fed it out with the Holy Ghost and came back and was in literal blessed. You know what I mean? So it's some beautiful, beautiful work to be able to manipulate energy and tap into because orgasmic is just running through the world. Like, it's literally orgasmic frequency just going on right now. It's a matter of tapping into it.
Yeah, tapping into that energy. This question I'm going to ask before I go to another break. Again, there's so much education we have to do, Gerbrina.
Yes.
Men, ejaculation, and men having an orgasm, those are 2 different things, right? And if you agree, can you kind of explain it? And men can have an orgasm. Most of y'all are not having orgasms, but break it down, Gerbrina.
Yeah, I have known very few, let me get to that, men that tap into this orgasm. I have known even fewer, maybe like 1 or 2 men that actually have mastered having orgasms all over their body, like in their fingertips and their toes. All that's possible for a man. And so ejaculation is when your fluid is leaving your body, right? And so that orgasm is typically different. It's the common orgasm. Most to all men that I know have had one. But tapping into that orgasmic orgasm, is generally sometimes for most men in a place where men are very kind of like, squeamish about people tapping into, because, I think that we are just like really overboard with this whole gay phenomenon. Right. And that's not to take anything away from people who were born that way. However, there is, there's some extra energy placed into people being homophobic and thinking that everybody is gay because they do certain things. And, one of the ways for men to have this orgasm is through his rectum. Not very far up his rectum, but it's in his rectum, and it's called milking the prostate. Mm-hmm. And it not only recalibrates his prostate where he is healthy and doesn't run the risk of having prostate cancer, right? So you're also making him a healthy, whole man when he does get his prostate milked. But I'm hearing, because I'm not a man, but it's an orgasm that's very deep, like the vaginal orgasm. And I really think men should allow themselves to be privy to this beautiful, beautiful energy. And again, I just want to say the possibility of that is that men not to just have this one localized ejaculation, beautiful experience, right? There are men that actually can orgasm, feel it in their entire body like a woman, right? Which is a very interesting process because, again, you know, we talked about it last time. Women are born and made for sex. Like, our bodies are made to house, hundreds. For every one orgasm that a man has or ejaculation feeling that a man has, a woman could have hundreds within a lovemaking session.
Boom.
And
Go ahead. Finish saying.
And I was just going to say, I just want men to know that it's a possibility for them to tap into that as well. Far and few, you know, these are men that I've seen has also been working on mastering their feminine. And what I mean by feminine is not that mastering being gay, it's mastering because everything has the law of gender in it. And when I say the law of gender, I'm talking about natural law of the cosmos, right, of the universe. Everything has masculine and feminine in it. And so I've noticed that men who have tapped into that are not afraid to tap into that feminine side and experience that.
Yeah, and good example of that would be Prince. You know, the androgynous man, that, you know, he looks feminine sometimes, but he's laying down with some of the most beautiful women in the world. And he knew who he was. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, he knew who he was. Right, and yes, that's a great example of the fact that even though a man has tapped into the feminine, it has nothing to do with the fact that he wants to have sex with men. Nothing to do with it. Even though the men that I've seen access these multiple orgasms don't even go, their look is not as extreme as Prince. But yes, Prince is perfect for that. You're right. How a man can tap into his feminine, and still carry the masculine.
Carry the masculine. It is all balance and it's all duality. Yin, yang, dark, light. Everything has a duality. And what we're trying to do in a spiritual form is to find mayas, which is complete balance to everything that we do, men. And I think the problem is, and you hit on it earlier, is that women are running around with too much masculine energy because she's holding down the job and she's being a CEO, she's a breadwinner, and men have too much feminine energy, and they really need to step up and be a man. I think it's about balance and really just being in discovering who you are. You know what I'm saying? And you know your role and your purpose. But again, it's just so much education that we have to do. We're going to jump into the vibration of sound. We're going to come right back, and we want to hear about what you got going, what's coming up, and what we can look forward to with you being on the show on Whole Mind, Body, and Soul when we come back, okay? So everybody hold what you got. We're going to jump into the vibration of sound right quick, and we'll be right back.
You are listening to the Get Global Network podcast of Whole Mind, Body, and Soul, hosted by Lawrence-Coutee.
You're back on Whole Mind, Body, and Soul. Special guest today is Gerbrina-Coutee. Man, we've been going over the science of sacred sexual energy. We talked about the work of Grandmaster, Master Yao. We talked about opening up ourselves and men really becoming educated and knowing their partner. Gerbrina, what's going on with you? What you got going right now, Queen? What are you working on right now? And where are you at right now, just vibing right now?
Thank you. You know, I am working on so much. I literally feel like I'm working on it day and night to get this information out, to package it in a way that people can listen to it on their own time. And that's why I'm just so grateful that, you know, you decided to do a show with me so that I can, you know, just share the information that I have. Like, you have so much information and you just want to pass it on and you just want to share it. So right now, you know, I do have Facebook groups, And they're closed groups, and so we discuss things like this in the closed group. There's multiple people there of like mind. I have one that's co-ed, and then I have one that's for the women, and we talk about womanly things and womanly spiritual things inside that group. And also in the co-ed group, it's so great. You talked about communication and being able to be open and finding ways, creative ways to communicate and tell your partner what you want, and ways to love through, the disappointments of people telling us, well, you haven't really been hitting it like you think you have, and so I offer tips and advice inside this group so that people have support. And support from other people who are attempting to do this Tantra walk, as I call it. So I have those groups that I'm managing on Facebook. One of them is called Eat, Pray, Tantra. So you're more than welcome to join the conversation on Facebook and Eat, Pray, Tantra. The woman's group is called Wild Rose. And so that's a pretty real, raw, and open group. And, we call ourselves Defiant Wild Women in there. And I'm sure we'll get into that, part of me on one of these shows. But, I'm just all about supporting people right now. I am working on some products, again, so that I can duplicate myself and try to be everywhere. People need me. So, some products where that's on, like MP3, a video products, to really share ways and techniques of how to be more romantic, ways of how to recover from arguments and how to restore commitment, and ways to maybe open up your relationship is one of the topics that I talk about, and I talk about the theory of why and other ways to do that. And so I'm just working on a lot of stuff. I'm excited about the next couple months that's coming up, again, because I'm just, I have a team finally that's helping me work on some of these things. And so I'm just, excited about what I have to give. And just right now I'm working on positioning myself to be able to, again, duplicate and share this knowledge so that, we are starting to create the life that we want and less of what we don't want.
Well, Gerbrina, I love to see you walking in your path and your truth. And it's amazing, because, I started the show. I think we was off the phone, like, I want to hear about the wild women,
Yes.
That's what I want to talk about. So we're going to get into all of that, but I'm just so grateful that you are a part of Whole Mind, Body, and Soul, and you have committed, and letting the listening audience know that you have committed to, she's going to be on, everybody, every first Thursday of the month.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just so excited to have you as part of the Whole Mind, Body, and Soul family. And we want to support anything you got going. Just seeing you position yourself right now, you say you have a staff right now, to see you take your vision and your movement, and now you actually, the help will come. If you walk in your path, let me say this, if you walk in your path, the door will open. Just walk in your truth. Step out there on water, and you'll start to see, people will start to gravitate towards you, and they will support you on your mission. But you've got to be out there and let them know what you're doing, man.
Yes.
You've got to do that. But so, like I said, Queen, to see you doing your thing and moving this movement forward, and we need this. We need this for our communities. We need this for our families. We need this for the planet,
Mm-hmm.
And it's beautiful to see you usher in this new age of what we need. It's ancient knowledge that has been lost to us, and we're going back and we're retrieving it, and we're giving it back to the planet. And it's just beautiful. I speak so many accolades on you, but it's just, like I said, I love to see people walking in their truth,
Thank you. Thank you so much. I do want to share that I am starting a campaign called Go So Deep. And what this campaign is about, it's really going to be about pulling out your best self, stepping into your confidence and stepping into your life mission. And the way that I'm starting off the campaign is it's going to be this month. The website has not went live yet to tell you how you can join and to get a part of it. However, the website is going to be called Go, as in G-O, Soul, as in the soul inside of you, S-O-U-L, Deep, DEEP.com. And so, again, it should be live between today and tomorrow and Saturday. But we're going to start it off with a free guided 14-day challenge of just getting back into being thankful and gratitude, because when we become thankful and grateful for what's going on in our lives, we begin to see more greatness than what we thought was going on. And the more we give energy to greatness and being thankful for what's going on, we open up that pathway, as you said, you know, walking in your path, walking in your greatness, and just more of it starts happening. And so I really am on a campaign to take whomever is ready to step into their power this lifetime to that next level, to that 6 figures, to that loving relationship, to that harmony with their kids, you know, whatever area that they want to become great at. This campaign is created to help them really move in that direction. Like you said, walk in your path. So I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that, the Go So Deep campaign.
Right. So I just talked to the producer, Kenneth Rose. He's already on top of that. Go So Deep. We're going to put that out in the comments for people to let them go ahead and get familiar with it, start looking for you, how they can be a part of that, you know. Guys, she's going to be back on October 5th. 6th is the next show. So if you're listening, whatever you're doing, make sure you mark your calendar. Gerbrina-Coutee will be back October the 6th on the next show. Queen, any parting words that you would like to give the listening audience? Some people want to make love this weekend and they want to reconnect. Just something that the universe is saying that you feel like you need to give right now. Any parting words before we get ready to close out?
Yes. Well, again, it's so amazing that we are reconnecting again on the new moon. And so the new moon is just about newness. It's telling you, it's giving you a chance to get yourself in position and on your path. It don't matter what happened yesterday. It don't matter, you know, how you feel like you fell off yesterday. It doesn't even really matter how great you were yesterday. Today, with this new moon, it is starting over. It's giving you a chance to plant something new. And since we're talking about committed relationships and loving relationships, it gives you a chance to think about what it is that you want to do with your relationship. If it's be more committed, if it's better communication, if it's, you know, better love making, if it's being more attentive, then I want you to think about that tonight. And for the next 36 hours, you have a chance to implant that in your subconscious mind and plant it into the universe and birth that at the end of this month. And so it's so beautiful that we get to reconnect again on this new moon, and I get to say those things to you. That means if you're on this call, you needed to hear that, and you're supposed to be doing that tonight. And so I wish you well, and I will see you all next month on the 6th, October.
Next month on the 6th. Thank you so much, Queen, Goddess, Gerbrina-Coutee.
Thank you.
I want to say this before I wrap up the show, man. Live in the moment. There's a lot of things that's going on right now. Beware of Mercury going into retrograde and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Read your research on that. I've been working with some people this week that are going through some things. A lot of females are going through some things right now. Get in touch with who you are. Let go. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow is not here. Live in the moment. Live in the moment. There's truly something going on right now. And whatever you're going through, whatever adversity, just know that if you're going to go through the storm, go straight ahead, go through it. Don't go to the left, don't go to the right, don't go back. Be firm in your power, go straight through it. Because truly, everything that you want is on the other side of fear. Face your fear and know that if you're listening to the show right now, that you're in the right place at the right time. Something is happening. For the mere fact that you're listening to the show or you're listening to the podcast, you are right where you need to be in this moment. Embrace it. Embrace your struggle, embrace your pain, because hard times do not come to break you. They truly come to make you. We are truly who we are through our adversity, because it is adversity that has gotten us to this point right now. So with that being said, I thank you all again for listening. I wish you love, peace, and light. And tune in again next Thursday, same time, same channel, to Whole Mind, Body, and Soul. Peace, love, and life.
Une plaie d'étrange infectieux. Je ne sais pas eu le temps enfoui. Oh, je t'aime, mon chéri.
You have been listening to the Get Global Network podcast of Whole Mind, Body, and Soul, hosted by Lawrence-Coutee. You can hear Whole Mind, Body, and Soul Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Pacific Time on Yessurr-FM, one of the original member stations of the Get Global Network. Listen to Yessurr-FM and other member stations of the Get Global Network on the go by installing any of the Get Global Network apps like So Metro Magazine, Grassroots Salute, Agtown Nation, or Big Red Radio Nation for your cell phone. The apps are available for download on both Google Play and iTunes app stores. Take the time to subscribe to our podcast via iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, or the Spreaker Podcast Network.